Good day, viewers around the world. Good day to you. It's morning here, Friday morning, 26th January 2024. My name is Mark Godwin Iwejuwa, and we're here to give our news update on our SSM Friday morning news echoes world affairs. Normally, we do this with our colleagues, coordinators from different parts of the world. And joining me from Germany, here in Europe, is Stephen Adioye. Honorable Stephen Adioye, how are you this morning?
Very well, thank you, Honorable Mark Godwin.
You're welcome.
I'm really happy to be back to the forum. Thank you.
Yes, we missed you last time. It's good to see you. Now we can't be just two men, you know. There's a beautiful lady in our midst also. So all the way from Lagos, Nigeria is Bidi Nana. Bidi, good morning this Friday.
Good morning, Massive Mike. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, our viewers all around the world. Thanks for joining us again today. Let's do it like always.
Let's do it like always. And you are looking beautiful, Bidi. What's happening? Is it birthday? Is it party after this?
It's New Year. We're celebrating New Year.
Wow, good. Being that celebrate that happy spirit. We love that. All right, Adioye Stephen. Today is our international world affairs update, and a lot of things are really happening. A lot is going on. Bidi, do we have the people from Plateau State, Nigeria? Are they going to be with us?
I hope so, but if not, we can talk about it because we need to talk about it.
Okay, we need to talk
about what is happening in Plateau State.
Okay, what we'll do now is let's have this update. Let's hear from you. What's happening? Because it's part of the international news. It affects a lot of things. Plateau State is Middle Belt, Nigeria, and a lot happens. So let's have your update, Bidi, then we go on.
Yeah, you remember that during the Christmas period, people were celebrating and they invaded the Plateau people and killed over 120 Plateau people. And it's quite unfortunately that the Nigerian media were giving us 50 and 60 people killed, but international media and the local media in Plateau were giving us over 100 people killed. And the Nigerian government has promised the people of Plateau and Nigerians that something will be done about that. Now, if you remember, during the attack, they gave the Nigerian army, military, more than 30 missed calls, and there was no response. And like I said earlier in this thing, Plateau is an attack area. These areas is one of the areas that are prone for attack. Normally, in festive period like this, all these military people, security people, supposed to be positioned in those prone area, but we don't do that. Now, the government has promised us that they will do something about that. It's okay. That has been the norm in Nigeria. A few days ago, they invaded the same community in Plateau and killed over 30 people. Now, see what happened. When these people came, the women and children were running to the community leader's house. They ran there and they captured them and killed them in their community leader's house. The military, the soldiers, no one was there to rescue them. Now the Plateau people, Jakuda has come out to accuse the Nigerian military that they are aiding the killing in Plateau. Now listen to his reasons. If you check most of the community that's been attacked by all these herdsmen, kidnappers, and the Boko Haram, those are communities that have a lot of mineral resources. And when this attack happens, you and I should expect that when you go to that area, you will see those areas empty. But no, after the attack, and these people have run away, they left their town, their villages. When you go there, you find activities going on in those areas with huge security people guiding these people. So what are we not talking about? What is it happening there? Now the government said they don't know about it. The military said they don't know about it. That's okay, we agree with you. But how come when they attack these people, people run away and leave their villages, expecting that they will return? But no, when you go there, a lot of people have taken over that place. Activities going on. mining going on, farming going on. And the Nigerian government and the Nigerian military telling us that they don't know about it. So that is the situation that the Plateau people are accusing Nigerian military for aiding the killings in Plateau.
Thank you very much, BD. Viewers joining in, before we go further, let me welcome Dr. Godwin Ibe from Moscow, Russia. Dr. Godwin, you're welcome to News Echoes World Affairs, Friday, 24th, 26th. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. I
Good.
hope I'm audible. Thank you so much
You
for
are.
having me. Thank you, viewers,
You
for
are.
tuning in.
Thank you. Viewers, what we're hearing from PD is update on that attack on Bokos, local government in Plateau State. Plateau is a middle belt Nigeria, a state in Nigeria, and that Bokos is a local government area. Now, PD is giving us real-time updates. Yes, we know today is our International Day, but we need to hear this real-time update because what she said is there was another attack on that community, and it's unfolding that these devastating attacks are as a result of some interest in that community. There are some interest some people have there, mineral resources. There are some things in that land, and this is what is happening. And BD has just told us that the number of dead people is more than what the media is saying. BD, we really appreciate what you're doing. Now, stay online, get more update for us since you're connected to the people, I think the villagers you're talking with, because we will need you to also brief us late as the program goes on. Before we go on, Adeoye, what will you say about this? What's your take on this happening in Bokos in Plateau State?
Few days ago, I commented on some of the atrocities that is going on, not only in Plateau State, but in the entire country. The situation is there, and our people do not have anyone to protect them, neither the military nor the government. Recently, we heard that the president just went on a private visit for 2 weeks. With all these things happening in a country, it determined that all the leaders will actually sit down and decide how to approach the situation and how to strategically deal with the situation, especially in that part of the country. My condolence goes to those people who have been killed and those people who have been maimed just because of the fact that they are in the wrong place at the right time. But the evil who comes to destroy them do not care, because our security agency do not have intelligence in place. How would, things keep repeating, atrocity keep repeating itself? And the military, in fact, the Sultan of Sokoto said something which I really agreed with 100%. He said, actually, our government, they are good at offering condolences, but not dealing with the situation. He said, he said it very clearly that they are fed up with the situation of the country. He said he was a former military personnel. And if the whole country do not have intelligence on the situation of things and how to mitigate issues, security issues that is going on in a very small village, or in fact, before there were 36 villages or so come together, yes, and the Boko Haram comes in and destroy. So obviously, in fact, in my article, I wrote that if Nigeria is not ready to tackle this problem, we, the diaspora, should go out elsewhere and look for help. It is for the protection of our people. We need to protect.
For the protection of our people. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you. Protection of our people. Dr. Godwin, I know this is not in the agenda, but there's an adage that says you can't leave your burning house and be helping another man quench fire in his own house. So it's an update that's coming from Plateau. BD is giving us devastating attack on Bokos, Barik Ladi, Magun local government in Plateau State. And it's not just once, they are coming back again. And who knows if they might come again. What do you have on that, Godwin? Do you have anything you saw on this?
Yes, yes, yes. I have a lot, even though I don't want to dwell so much on it because of the focus of
Yes,
this today's program. The
yes.
first one is this issue of terrorism and all of that. We know Nigeria is not the first place where terrorism. We understand in Syria there was a balance of power, and when the US and Western forces kind of supported the rebels, and it was a civil war, a vacuum was created, and this allowed ISIS to excel.
Yes.
We understand that terrorism, the growth of terrorism, is directly linked to power vacuum. You can't force democracy, or you cannot on another person, or you cannot create in any form, directly or indirect, no matter whether you call them autocratic, no autocratic. The point is that once there's a power vacuum, it will not remain a vacuum. A terrorist will come there and fill up that vacuum. Now, we've seen how it was solved. ISIS was in remission, was reduced to the barest minimum. How did that happen? The Russian forces came and helped the Syrian government, and there was a clear understanding that between both the Russia and the US that if there's any terrorist gathering or grouping, we'll bomb it. We don't care whose flag is there. You understand? And so that mutual understanding helped to create, and also the supply of necessary weapons like drones, modern weapons, drones, artillery, which are necessary, needs to be supplied. And you can't always have this idea that the country must be holding some kind of humanitarian standard or rule of law of whatever before you sell them what they need. And also, there's the option of paramilitary. Places like Burkina Faso, Niger had these problems. They say, okay, well, we cannot deal with it. That's the fact. Well, let's call in paramilitary, Wagner, and the rest, and they are in remission. Basically, there are people who can do the job if you can't do the job, but there have to be some element of seriousness, and that you have to close the power vacuum. There has to be structure, weapons, and kind of intelligence. There are people who can provide that intelligence if you can't provide it yourself.
Thank you very much. There are people that can provide that intelligence if they can provide it themselves. One of such acts of looting in one's land has happened long time ago. The UK British Museum is returning 32 looted gold treasures back to Ghana listen to this, under a long-term loan agreement. Gentlemen, let's put our satellite now on Ghana. There are pieces of gold, looted gold that was taken in the 19th century. The British troops did that. They came to Ghana, in a part of Ghana called, I think is the Ashanti region, and they took all of these things. But as at yesterday, we had they are returning it, but it's still like a long-term loan agreement. They are returning somebody's property under an agreement, and it's like a loan. I'm giving you your property, but it's for some time. Let me start with Adioye. Adioye, we saw that it was happening in Germany, Nigeria, and some of our own looted items that were in Germany, UK, everything. Yes. So give us what's this story? Why do they come to take things and give you back as a loan? Why are these British people doing like this? And they have made so much money from this, mind you. So much money has been made out of this piece. Now they say, okay, Ghana, you can have it, but it's for a time, and we'll take it back from you. Adieu. Adieu, can you hear me?
Yes, I mean, it depends on the art of negotiation. Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you. Can you hear me?
Very well. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Very
can you
well.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I mean, it depends on the art of negotiation. If you go into a negotiation table and you do not have what you brought on the table that would determine the reaction of the other side, Then you get things like what Ghana got. Who owns the gold in the first place? The Ghanaians. Why should there be string attached to it? But because of our negotiating tactic in the continent is always very weak, and whenever there's a mentioning of some kind of grant or fund, we're so immune to getting this softy money. And so we leave, and even we can destroy our heritage by just getting them coming in and give us conditions. So why should you give what belongs to me as a loan, or that I should give it back after some time? So there's something wrong with the negotiation tactic that the Ghanaian came into. And again, who owns the gold? The one who owns the gold is leasing it to the one who wants to have it for a while. So the question is, what are we talking about here? Who owns the gold? The Ghanaian or the English? So if it's to be the Ghanaian that own the gold and they're getting it back, like the German did, let them give it without any condition attached to it. I'm just talking in a layman language. I'm not going into all these technical things.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, let's take note of this. On Thursday, just yesterday, the important the collaboration Ghana now has with the British Museum and another museum called the Albert Museum in London. It now puts aside the UK law that has been in check for a long time. That law stipulates that those treasures belong to the UK. Can you imagine? So they came now with this collaboration, and they step aside, they put aside that law. So now these items could be returned to Ghana, but still with a condition. And we are saying this is stealing. This is pure daylight robbery.
Yeah, that is why I said it. That is why. Yeah.
Yes. Bidi, how do you feel? Are you stopping that story? It's making round.
I'm following the story. This shows you the stage we as Black people have gotten to. We should even be covering our face. This is my property. You stole it from me. This is over 72 years we are talking about now. And I went on a table to negotiate with you that you will give me back my thing you've stolen from me. Then you're not giving me condition on which I will give it to you. If you look at those conditions, they say 3 years condition, it's 3 years old. It will only be shown on a certain program, certain events. Do you understand? He said the thing is this Western world, sorry, I might use the word I'm about to use, they've seen how myopic we are in reasoning. So they're always looking for every tactics to extort from us. And we, as I said, all those people that made that trip in Ghana, they should all be buried alive. How can you even agree to such terms and conditions? This is your property. They stole it from you. They've even accepted they stole it. Now, from what they said that UK museum law, forbid them from removing that from the museum permanently, except on a loan terms. You stole something, and the only way you can remove it is by a loan. This is another way of. They're always looking for a means to extort from Africa, and with the Africans, we are giving them the lead way. The Ghanaians should be ashamed of themselves for even agreeing to this. This should not even made a headway in the news. Why are we talking about this?
They should take their thing. It's theirs. Dr. Godwin, I know you're laughing and nodding your head because it sounds really ridiculous.
Excuse me, can I just...
Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Stephen, before Godwin. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say something very, 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 very important. Look, you see, sorry, Dr. Ibe, I just wanted to chip in something. What happened here is this. There's what we call the monetization of on-ground assets.
Okay.
Now, for leasing that gold to Ghana, Ghana could leverage on this instrument that is available
Okay.
to use it to get some funds before they return it back. Now, we have to be careful the way we technically look at the whole thing. The gold belongs to the museum, but the museum is leasing it out to Ghana, and there is an instrument called monetization of on-ground assets. And that could be an opportunity for Ghana to make money on the gold before they return it over. So this is another aspect, economical aspect, which we should also look into.
Okay. Let's hear Godwin. Godwin, about I think the items are 17 in total. And
32.
Oh, 32. Okay. And now is being loaned back to the original owners.
Yeah,
And
let me come in. You know, I everyone has spoken well, but I don't want to be politically correct or to rob anybody's ego or soothe anybody's emotion. I just want to be kind of factual, yes, without emotions. The truth is that we can say it's originally Ghana's gold, but it's not Ghana's gold. The reason is simple. When there's a war or when there's a like colonial theft, usually these things are not returned back, even though they originally belong to Ghana. I'm not disputing that. But in spoils of war, nobody returns spoils of war or spoils of colonialism. There are many, if we remove like the gold in the museum and talk about the many gold that was stolen through mercantilism and slavery, there's a lot to return. In an ideal world, it should be returned in an ideal world. But we don't live in an ideal world, and it's not normal to return spoils of war. The thing is that in the world we live in today, power is might, and we can see the contempt to which the colonialists deal with Africa, with a lot of contempt and condescending and attitude, both in actions, and we can see it. But what Ghana is doing all the same is very smart, because in such a kind of world, you don't do it what is right and waste time arguing, talking. That's not, it doesn't buy you nothing in a world where power is might. What buys you anything that is of value is leverage. And by changing the location of those gold, they are building leverage. In any future negotiation, as long as those gold is located on the territory of the Ghana, they have just built leverage in the negotiation. And that is all that is important. Irrespective of what they sign on that paper, even if they signed that it wasn't gold, that it was a crocodile they brought, it doesn't matter. When the negotiation come up, then they will not tell you, okay, you think we were stupid? Now the gold is now, come and invade us, come and invade us and collect it now. That's how you deal with people who deal with you with contempt. I've told you, in also you should understand that if it was a loan, then there's interest accrued on the loan. So they should have paid not just the gold, but with interest. But we don't live in such kind of ideal world. So you take what you can and you build the leverage so that next time you go then and you tell, I once said on the show, I wish Africa would grow to a position where they would just tell any other party that stole their thing, hey, we give you 2 weeks to return it. If you spend more than 2 weeks, we might change our mind on how we intend to relate with you. That's a position of power. It is a position of begging and begging. When you beg, you get what you can, and then you build on the leverage. You don't talk and be arguing and be da. No, you just get it in your side first before you begin to know what next. Understand? That's how you deal with. So we don't live. They deal with contempt with us. So you have to be smart, street smart when dealing with them.
Oh, viewers, you can hear it raw. You're tuned on to SSM News Echo World Affairs this Friday. You are hearing from the people that speak from the heart, and they speak intelligently from the heart. Gentlemen, let's go now to I think that's okay for that. Let's go to something also that's catching the airwave. Saudi Arabia is changing its alcohol rule. Right there at the capital, Riyadh, they say they will now serve, but it's exclusively for non-Muslim diplomats. That's the word they use. The rule means that non-Muslim diplomats in Riyadh can now have a bottle of alcohol or two. Now, this is coming at a time when people are wondering, what is this? The news allows alcohol shops to sell alcohol to citizens, to these foreigners, but some people are exempted from this. The store will not be accessible to Muslims, and it will not be accessible to Saudi Arabia citizens, some of them. But some of the citizens say this new law, this new rule might begin to open way for more things in this issue. Gentlemen, let's talk about Saudi. Riyadh is going to be selling alcohol. Muslims that never used to drink are about to start drinking. Who's going first? Stephen, what do you know about this? It's making wave all over Saudi Arabia to change alcohol rule.
Yes, I think the world is getting more like a global village. Mm-hmm. And the Saudi Arabian don't want to be left behind. And in all ways, they try to accommodate others that live in the country. So I would actually go for more relaxed regime than the issue of alcohol. Well, anyway, this is subjective. So, I mean, well, if it leads to more relaxed, regime that people can freely buy and sell, and people can determine their own future themselves, and they are not being bogged around because of their faith or religion or color, well, it's welcome. But of course, it shouldn't be restricted to alcohol alone.
It shouldn't be restricted to alcohol alone. Okay. And it shouldn't be restricted to diplomats alone. It should be open to everybody as long as...
No, it should be restricted. Don't say that.
It should be restricted. Yeah, go ahead, Godwin. What do you want to say?
Yeah, anyway, the law is not changing for the citizens. Yes, it's not changing for the citizens. It's only being relaxed for embassies and missions of non-Muslim countries.
Yes,
embassy and missions of non-Muslim countries. That is a logical step, because you don't, according to the Vienna Convention and diplomatic norms, when you're on the territory of your embassy, you are like in a foreign land, and attempts to impose things that can be seen as like invasion. This is quite logical. But I also commend Saudi Arabia and generally Muslim countries, because they don't have a problem calling a spade a spade. They don't have a problem saying like, sorry, we think alcohol, even if the aim is just like Mohammed doesn't like it. But for the fact they believe it and they can tell you to your face without mincing words, I respect their courage and their beliefs. In Christian countries are not so rigid or even convinced. They're not even convinced about what they believe in. A Christian country can say in our constitution we are a Christian nation, we are God, and then you see them doing all sorts of things, destroying the marriage, the whole institution of marriage, destroying children's lives with their all sorts of funny education. I respect the Muslim countries for being able to call a spade and be strict and actually believe in what they say and be strict with what they believe in. But at the same time, we can see some logical steps with foreign missions and embassies and missions from non-Muslim countries.
Wow, BD, thank you very much, Godwin. BD, Saudi Arabia will allow alcohol sales. This is coming after a lot of many years of this rule and divided opinion. What's your views on this, BD?
Yeah, I think, can you hear me?
Very well.
Yeah, after 72 years to relax this law. And what's prompting them in relaxing this law is because they notice how a particular black market was driving. I think this is just what I call money issue. You know, they saw the kind of money this black market was making in alcohol. So they felt, oh, don't you think we are losing money in this direction? We should do something. And that is why. And this particular shop, I think it's situated in Qatar, the capital of Saudi Arabia. There's only one shop, and they want to monitor it. Like they said, it's only for diplomats. It's not for people of but unfortunately, the people will still be the good customers, because directly or indirectly over these 72 years they've been drinking. Yes.
Okay.
So sorry, let me add something very quickly.
Uh-huh.
BD, sorry.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia has so much money. Yeah, it cannot be the money in black market. They have so much money in terms of liquid cash. For Saudi Arabia, it's the optics. They have a lot of influential figures. For example, Cristiano Ronaldo is in Saudi league. There are some things he does which for a normal citizen is a violation of the Saudi law. But they understand it's a celebrity. They understand that they cannot arrest diplomats who drink. Diplomats drink and stumble drunk coming from a party, and you cannot arrest them. So the optics has been very bad, and it has been a gray area under the law. It's not cash, it's just the optics as a Muslim nation. It goes against their beliefs. They have a lot of cash, Saudi Arabia.
I know they have a lot of money, but that's one of the reasons they say that they notice that this particular black market is driving, and what is driving them is the sales of this alcohol. So if
they are brought in mostly by the mission, people who are connected with mission, and they can't do much about it because of respect for diplomat.
Thank you, guys. We'll go on a short break. So the country is developing, it's growing, it's attracting lots of talent, lots of investment, and you need to open up all those strict laws so that people can come in. Gentlemen, let's go on a break. Stay on. Viewers, you are tuned into SSM News Echoes today, our global international news. And I'm here with BD from Lagos, Godwin from Russia, and Adioye from Germany. So let's stay right on. We'll be back.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and that prophecy is coming to pass. But I'm telling you, the final solution has been found many years ago in the Bible, because the Bible simply says righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to the people. So I want you to know that we can get solutions to problems in Ukraine, in Russia, in Nigeria, indeed all parts of the world. We need that solution, and the solution is straightforward. Please get a copy of my book. It's the Final Solution by Bishop Shegun Johnson, and you can find it in Kindle, in Amazon. Just type Bishop Shegun Johnson, The Final Solution. It's very, very small book you can read within 2 hours, but it contains the final solution. Do get a copy. Not getting it is doing disservice to humanity. Don't forget The Final Solution.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce.
A year ago, I wrote a book titled The Final Solution, and I was trying to say to the rest of the world that there are challenges ahead. Now, a prophecy did come, and
Hi there, I'm Mary Curick, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Viewers, you're welcome. You're welcome. We're back in Friday global news, international updates. Gentlemen, I hope you're there. We still have to talk on the United States Secretary of State, Blinken. He visited Nigeria, and on Tuesday he pitched a very strong voice out and said the United States is a better security partner for Africa in place of Russia, Wagner, mercenary group, which he accused of exploiting the continent. And Blinken said a lot. He said U.S. will continue to support Nigeria and all regional partners in the effort to stabilize Sahel and bring in progress. Now, gentlemen, my question to you guys is: he came, he said a lot, he spoke about his country, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, will there be any consequence? Will there be any impact in this? Godwin, let's have you. What's your take on this? Blinken in Africa, in Nigeria.
Geopolitical powers are increasing their attention, paying more attention to Africa, and we're seeing this in at least in words and sometimes in action. But if you want to talk about the substance of things, for material wealth, in terms of material exploration and export from colonialized or ex-colonialized countries, we'll say the Western powers, let me use better say the Anglo-Saxons have an upper hand. Anglo-Saxons have an upper hand. If we say Nigeria, for example, an ex-British colony, in terms of trade and oil resources, obviously has a much more influence. But when we go beyond that, we go to consumer goods and services. We understand that China has the upper hand. And then when we go to security as a framework, especially against counterterrorism, Russia has an upper hand. And obviously they try to battle out themselves. I'm not here to be unobjective or to pander to any particular side, but the fact is that they're paying more attention, and obviously their rhetorics, you should all take it with a grain of salt. Because it's all to try to maximize, but there's still a limit. The limits are still there. What are the limits? For example, all of them know that when they give loans to Africa, they may not be properly utilized, and the leaders may squander them. So in other words, they're unproductive loans. China is willing to risk more for soft power, and the West are not likely to do that. They also understand that Russia would sell weapons, so anything you need, as long as you're willing to pay and sign the contract. Russia doesn't care about which regime is there or how you manage your domestic politics or to dictate to you how you should live your life. They understand different business is business, sovereignty of a country is sovereign. If they want to influence, they have other tools for influencing. but not in terms of the contract demanding that it must reach some arbitrary level of governance before they can sell you things. So these are the limits that are still there, that I wouldn't go away even with all the rhetorics.
Okay, thank you very much. Adioye, one of the things the man said is the United States is a better security partner in Africa instead of the Russia Wagner mercenary group, which he accused of exploiting the continent. He said they exploit with coup hits and they conflict the country with so much. Adioye, do you agree with that? Those were his words. Do you agree with those words of Blinken?
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, sir. Oh, I can't hear.
Adio, you need to unmute. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Unmute, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now, I do not agree with what Blinken said for one or two reasons. You see, for so many years, it has been a game here and there with the West and with with other powers influencing Africa, getting all the all the raw materials out and leaving people in poverty. So at one stage, people will look for other saviors. I mean, it is very, very important for us to just stop the the kind of Russian or Chinese or whatever. I believe that when the Russian came in and acted, it was welcomed by the people. If Blinken come and acted, it will be welcomed by people because we have been trained or groomed to depend on the savior from the outside. So all the time, what we do is to look out at them for solution. So the situation will change the moment we start looking inward, that we are the product of what could change the narrative in our own countries. If you look at the visit of Blinken to other countries, even Singapore, you don't hear him saying, we will support you with this, we will give you loan, we will help you to feed the talk as nation to nation. What can be done? Investment. Do you know that Canada actually is open for investment? There's a place in Canada called, it is called Little Punjab. Canada actually, invited the Indians who have the money to come and invest, and they are part and parcel of the system. They create a system that is good for them. So basically, we need to start doing something differently. And for me, either it is Putin, or it is the Zhenhun of China, or anyone, whatever. Once they bring a package that changes the system and help us to work together in partnership, well, and at the end of the day, the owner of the land still remain us, the people in Africa. And we determine and decide the way things go. Before it get there, it's just going to be a game that these powerful nations will be playing with us in Africa.
Strong words. BD, we know the Wagner group is active in most parts of Africa, including Mali. And somehow it seems like things are changing in those places they are. Do you agree that America can't do much as what the Russians are doing in Africa? Or do we need the Americans to come again and exploit us? See how their brothers are taking the gold and looting the bronze and everything. Billy, what's your take on this?
Of course, you've said it all. The Wagner group are actually trying all their best to outdo the Americans. And the Americans coming back to Nigeria, what they are trying to do is to get back their clients. You know where their clients. That's what they are trying to do. But unfortunately, getting back their clients, it's easy, but only if you can change your formats. But unfortunately, they still want to remain with the old formats in having African to themselves. That's the problem they're having. If you look at his press conference with Nigerian minister, one of the questions he was asked about the coup in Niger and all these other African countries, did you hear what he said? He said they don't recognize it. It means they don't even care about the life of an ordinary African. That what they are doing is to get those countries back to democratic rule. And what is the democracy rule? The rules they set out for Africans. So what all these African Western world are doing is just to retain us and be using us, exploiting us. And the Russia and Wagner group are trying to do things differently, the way they've not been doing. Do you understand? Now it's left for we Africans to strengthen our negotiating skills so that we can negotiate right. Because if we don't, strengthen and grow our negotiating skills, we will still remain the way we've been. Or we might even force Russia to treat us the way the UK, the British has been treating us.
Thank you very much, viewers. So we all agree here as a team that our negotiating strategy should be changed. We should look more before we sign the dots and take all the I's and everything and come up with a better negotiations, favors us as a people, as a continent. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's move on. Let's move on to other things happening around the world. I don't know any of you following the Trump situation, American election this year. We had that yesterday. Trump was in court to face some charges. We all know the charges. He's being charged for defamation and sexually assaulting a lady called Jane Carroll. And this lady is a writer. She's putting him out, accusing him, and so much. And she's also seeking a $10 million compensation fee. Adio, are you following the Trump thing? Godwin, are you following up that story? Also, we saw that Trump and Biden are looking at a win in, I think that would be New Hampshire. And we know that the challenger there is that lady called Nikki Haley. Yesterday, anybody following up those stories?
Yes, obviously. I'm following up, just not so actively, but I try to read up on it. But if any other person is following up, you can start. Can I go ahead?
Yeah. Go ahead. We don't have much time anyway. Just
okay.
Run.
Just briefly. He won in Iowa and New Hampshire. Yes, in the nominations. So he's well ahead of Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley also will most likely lose in her hometown, her home state. That's just how popular Trump is. So it's a foregone conclusion that Trump will win the primaries. But what is characteristic or uncharacteristic? What is characteristic or uncharacteristic is the undemocratic nature of trying to prevent him from competing, allowing the people to pick who they want. You say you hope so? Me, I don't care who is there. Let just the American people, let the American people choose who they want, and let them have the opportunity to do that.
Godwin, I just wanted a small summary because we're coming to Kremlin, Russia, Ukraine update. We all saw what happened. They downed the transport plane of Russia, and Russia says that plane was transporting Ukrainian prisoners of war, while Ukraine says rather it was carrying Russian missiles that would have been used to strike them. So anyway, the plane was brought down, and
They've changed their tone. They've changed their tone. No, they all agree on that. Yeah, they all
all
agree
agreed.
on
What have they all agreed on? That it was carrying
that. Prisoners, the list of their names have been published. The prisoners
because
who
they
died have been
initially
published.
said it was just 5 people. They saw
Yeah,
that.
when the Russia had the Ministry of Defense hadn't released the official report, they thought that they downed a. They said it was military goods from Iran and all of that, but after they released everything, then everyone's on the same page on that.
Okay, very good. So now
I tend to have a different. I tend to have a different version of it, please.
yes,
I tend
go
to
ahead
have a
with your
different
version.
version
Go ahead with your
because
version.
the list that was published out, the Ukrainians said some of those in the list were those who were released before. So there was. I mean, it is not yet clear what is going on between both. You see, ladies and gentlemen, these two countries are in a war, and we are in the middle. So, who can verify and actually vet the information that is coming from both sides? Now we have the artificial intelligence in play, and we have so many things that could distort us as normal individual people. So, in my opinion, whatever both countries that are involved in war says, I have decided to keep my mind and my nerve low and just wait and see and pray for peace. Because war is never a solution, either from the one who reacted or revenge, or the one who strike. So for me, I am not following that anymore. What I'm actually hoping for is that these two gentlemen sit on a table and agreed on the way of peace. The same in Gaza, the same in whatever, in Plateau State, the same all over the world. My take is this: these two gentlemen, or these two ladies, or these two people sit down, talk, and get rid of war and start living in peace.
Start living in peace.
Yes. I second what he said. I haven't commented, and I was just only correcting what you said.
Okay.
I've always maintained on this program that the East and the West add so much value to the world, for both in terms of economic, social, technology, and it's always good if they get along. Let me just add a little bit to what a fellow colleague has said. Yeah, it will be naive to see it as just Russia-Ukraine war. It's actually Russia-NATO war stage in Ukraine, and it's more of a proxy conflict because the investment is like dining with a long fork, in the war. But the people who are suffering the most are the Ukrainians in terms of it's on their territory. It's like I always give the story of Solomon in the Bible when there was an issue about whose child it was, and the real mother of the child said, no, we won't split this child because it's a child. It's my child. I know how the child feels, So the fact that anyone who wants such a figurative child split obviously has doubts about. There should be doubts about honesty and sincerity of intention. But with that being said, yes. We call for negotiation, we call for peace, negotiation without precondition. We clearly understand that Ukraine has banned negotiation. It's enshrined in the presidential decree of 2022. But we hope that they would undo the decree, at least in words. Russia seems to be open to negotiation. It doesn't mean that they would agree or not agree, but at least they say they are open to negotiation. So I believe also I should come to negotiation, as Stephen has said, and find a way forward, because people are dying every day. And sorry, just a few more things. The loss of lives is increasing, but it's coming on the back of the main sponsor of the conflict, which is US, saying that they've run out of funds. The election is here, which of course Trump is against the sponsorship and support of weapons, supply of weapons and funding to Ukraine, and it's coming at the time where there's change of tone. For example, initially when there were a lot of rhetorics about defeating each other on the battlefield, and then it changed to stalemate. And then they are saying making territorial concessions. And then now we're speaking about seizing of assets, with some European countries suggesting that, and Russian strongly saying that they would retaliate. They already have their retaliation in place.
Yes.
And then
Monday,
yeah.
continue more on this. I want to. We have very small time. It's good to touch on everything that we have here. On the business aspect and tech side of our discussion this morning, we've always talked about the AI, its implications and everything. Now there's a serious thing going on. The AI has been used to they used it to generate an explicit image of an American musician called Taylor Swift, and it's spreading very fast on social media. Pornography, they did that, and you would think it's her. In fact, that is just her, but it's AI generated, and this is a famous star. Now, seeing this image, I've seen it because of our media thing. It brings to mind what could happen to anybody. It could happen to anybody. Anybody's image could be used to create these things and spread around. So these are some of the implications of AI. 3 minutes and we're out. Let me start with BD. BD, how will you feel an AI pornographic image? I mean, we're talking of porno, not just an image. What will you say of this? I don't know if you heard about it. It's making round all over. X, former Twitter, has taken it down. They've taken the image down, the video, but a lot of people still have it on their phones. A lot of people still have it on other social platforms. So these are the implications. What will you say?
See, this AI thing is what has come to stay with us. There's nothing we can do about it. More about these things will still come out. So taking it down has not stopped them creating more or different things. Like you said, time will come when you might be arrested for doing something you don't know about, because there's an AI of you who they have used to impersonate you. So more of these kind of things will come up. So I think what we should do is to be ready for it. So deleting it does not stop it. More is going to come out.
Adeoye, how can we be ready for it? What's the way? Did he just hit it there now? But how do we get ready? Adeoye? Okay, I think Adeoye.
Just like every new thing, even when the internet was introduced, just like everything else. I mean, even when the internet was introduced, the was introduced. There had been a lot of things around it. People saying it will be abused. Yes, it will be abused, but thank God there are think tank group experts who are coming together to sort of create a kind of like buffer zone, or make it impossible for people to just use it anyhow. So there is basically some group of people who are working towards mitigating the extent of what people can use this system to do, the artificial intelligence. So, but of course, it is now showing very clearly that it could be abused like everything else. So, but that doesn't negate the importance of artificial intelligence.
That does not negate the importance of artificial intelligence.
Just to add to it, I don't waste my time. Just to add to it, I don't waste my time watching those things. So I have no time watching those things. So yes, I know for sure that artificial intelligence will be abused, but I don't watch those things. I don't.
No, yes.
I mean, keep my mind. The Bible says.
Yes.
The Bible says that you renew your mind every day. So I keep my mind intact, and I don't watch it.
Hallelujah.
Many people are prone to.
Let me add something.
I stumble on it somehow suddenly, and yes.
Hallelujah. Let me add
1 minute, please.
BD is saying something, but I can't hear, so I'll just continue.
Yes. No, go ahead. Go ahead. We have
as long as you're a social media user, you can't avoid those things. Some of them you
Yes.
don't look for them; they just pop on your timeline. You
Yes.
see them, so it's
Yes.
not about.
Okay, let me add something. So on a more serious note, we have to, like you're right, so we have to prepare for it. But there are already steps that are taken in the right direction, which we have to mention some of them. We have the think tanks, like Steve said, but also have the forensics team. We have the fact checkers, but I don't believe those fact checkers. They're all, it depends on where they're located. They are all biased. But what we've seen digital camera makers do, like Sony, Nikon, and Canon, they've now embedded digital signatures to any photo you take with your camera. So you can be able to verify that this was taken by this camera on this date, and to prevent tampering with the photos. Now, concerning the use of celebrity faces, for the porn industry, they would see it as a step forward in the right direction, because it boosts their fantasy industry. For the fact that it's licensed and it's supported in those countries, why wouldn't those same countries that give license to people to do pornography, why can't they give license to people to fulfill their fantasy? So I think for them, it's a step in the right direction, if you understand my sarcasm.
Wow.
But
It's a step in the right direction.
obviously we have to deal with the risks from here.
Yeah, there are risks from here. So, viewers, you're hearing these words. These are intelligent words put together today on our program, SSM News Echoes World Affairs. And we've said it so well. Gentlemen, we have to go. Monday we'll be here. Those of you that can make it here, please be here. Let's give some more updates. News happen every minute. Situations are springing up every time. So we do our best to get a little out, the main core ones, and we share with our viewers. And we have quite some number of viewers with us. So thank you very much, Dr. Godwin from Moscow, Russia, and BD from Lagos, Nigeria. Our man, Adioye Stevens from Germany. Stevens, God bless you guys. Have a beautiful weekend till we come again next week. Bye-bye.